Welcome back to Marvel Maniac and MCU Aftershow. This is your host, Eric Cicada, aka Mr. Honest. I'm here today with a movie after show. We haven't done these in a bit, as far as I remember. And today, we're going to be talking about the fallout of Avengers Endgame, the final movie of the Infinity Saga, and just an overall awesome movie, Spider-Man Far From Home, as you've seen from the title. Mysterio is the villain here, as you already know, and Peter does have a lot of the access he had, if not too much, to Tony Stark's arsenal before he passed. Has to deal with the fallout of the death of his hero, the man who saved him, the man who brought him into the life of being a superhero, who approved him, who he looked up to. So you're gonna see a lot of trauma in this movie, and it's something we see from Spider-Man in other movies, usually with the Uncle Ben situation. And I always would call this the death of Tony his Uncle Ben moment, more or less, in this universe. I always have said that. I even said it before the movie. I'm like, they're setting up Tony to be his Uncle Ben moment, where he loses the person he cares about very much. Not that he didn't care about his Uncle Ben at all. That's not what I'm saying. It's more, we don't really know Uncle Ben in this universe. So like, Tony at the moment of his death was Peter's father figure. I mean, that's what I'll definitively say, in my mind, at least. The name Far From Home, it's sticking with Homecoming. I was like, okay, they're going to do the home thing. I'm going to be honest. Far From Home and No Way Home are way too close. They need more distinctive titles, but they're not going to rename the movie now. It's not that big of a deal, but I definitely almost called this No Way Home, and like it's far from home. So he's on vacation. He's in another country. He's far from where he started with Tony Stark when he was home, and he was going to the homecoming dance. He's in his mind mentally far from where he was, and literally going on vacation. So it's a double meaning there. I do think this really works as the first post-Endgame movie. I think it's smart to put it from Spidey's perspective, showing how he handles the weight of Tony, because while he didn't know Tony as long as everyone else, he knew Tony in his biggest years of being a superhero, and he pretty much taught him most of what he knows, at least morally, and well, with the suit, I mean, just upgrading him to be a better, cooler Spider-Man. Biggest shock of the movie was that mid-credits scene where we get J. Jonah Jameson. That's a twist in of itself, J. Jonah Jameson in the MCU. But he exposes Spider-Man. So everyone knows who Peter Parker is at the end of the movie. And we get he almost swears, just like the beginning of the first movie where his Aunt May sees him as Spider-Man and says, "What the?" I love the continuity. I love the running jokes. I love Happy's beard, his blip beard. Jon Favreau in these movies is fantastic, and the moment I'll talk about it whenever we talk about No Way Home again, because that's going to be the next. We're going to I have an episode of the night I saw that in theaters, but I didn't do like a normal episode for it. So sooner than later, I'm going to do No Way Home, and his relationship, his story with Aunt May is pretty heartbreaking. Happy Hogan, we love him though, and seeing him is always exciting, like in Deadpool and Wolverine. Okay, so where does this land in the Spidey trilogy? This Spidey trilogy. So like 1 out of 3. I would say this is one of the best ones. I'd give this movie like a 9. And I'd probably give, honestly, I'll just say it now. Right now, I'd probably give Far From Home like a 9.5 or a 9. Both great movies. I think Far From Home could have done a couple different things in retrospect. But we'll get to that when we get to that. I think this movie was near perfect, if not. I don't know what is a 10, if not this movie. So it could easily be my 10. I just don't want to rush it up to the top. I know it's a great movie, though. We all do. If you're here, you're probably listening in retrospect. If you haven't seen Spider-Man Far From Home, I'd recommend getting into the MCU Spideys and come back and listen then, because we're going to be talking a lot about previous movies, installments in the MCU, and like where this is leading in the MCU. So it'd be good for you to know Spider-Man. Without further ado, let's break down this movie. So the whole movie revolves around a Europe trip. And this is a post-blip reality. And we really see a little bit of the fallout from that. And honestly, this movie is somehow... It does a good job of remaining really lighthearted despite losing Tony. And in reality, Tony saved the world. But it's sad they play "I Will Always Love You," and the kid it's like the kids made this at the school, like a hero worship video or I shouldn't say worship, just like a positive hero video to pay tribute to Iron Man, Black Widow, all the Avengers, and there's no Spider-Man in there. I'm glad. I bet he's glad though. I mean, Spider-Man doesn't do good with the secret identity out there. Another thing I like about both these movies as a whole, Spider-Man No Way Home and Far From Home, they're definitely like movies that you would want to watch back to back, because this movie ends and then the next movie begins at the same moment. So I love that personally. There's a lot of time between these movies, and it's good to know that like we can watch. We'll probably watch that one really soon because it's just literally right after this. And Mysterio, just gotta say, great villain for the movie. Peter's just trying to live like a normal life, but he can't really escape his hero duties as Spider-Man. And I say that because Tony Stark, his presence is still in the movie. It's very powerful. The impact he had on Peter's life is alive, and in a big way, Peter's very much dealing with that, and pressure gets put on him this movie that he's never had before in his life. So yeah, like I said, they're going on a trip to Europe. The two characters, JB Smoove, and I should know the other guy's name. They're great. His teacher and the two teachers, they are such great comedic relief in this movie. So this is kind of like the start, really, because last movie, Peter was into the Vulture's daughter, but MJ was kind of always in the back. We even only learned her name at the end was MJ, and there's like an awkward love story here, which I like. I think off camera, between the blip and now in this movie, there's probably been I think it might have been 9 months. I don't know. It's been a little bit of time, so I'm wondering if the idea of life and death and all the complicated things that come with it influence Peter's just love for MJ, because it kind of pops up in this movie. It's just he doesn't have a wow moment in front of us. We just find out when he's telling Ned, trying to buy that dual headphone adapter. Their relationship is adorable and awkward, and just how it should be, honestly. So there's no rest for our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, at least for this movie. It'd be great if we got a movie of him just chilling around the apartment, maybe watching the news, from his big battle the night before. A horrible movie. Don't make this movie. Mysterio, great villain. Jake Gyllenhaal, perfect casting. I want more of him personally. I don't believe he's dead. I think he is a magician. He is a master of disguise. He even though the bots at the end said he was dead, I think he made it out somehow. Maybe not though. People don't stay dead in the MCU, as they say, except for Uncle Ben. So I think Mysterio can come back. I honestly do. He has all these. He sets himself up as a hero in this movie, which is hard in a rewatch. The first time we watched the movie, this stuff looks so realistic. The water thing he fights, the first thing we get Peter in on, the big fight with the water monster, apparently all planned around Peter just being there, getting Nick Fury there, getting them together. He's manipulating the whole situation. And we do believe it. I believe it at first. The only thing I was hesitant in theaters was the fact that Mysterio is a bad guy. It's one of his biggest bad guys. So how is Mysterio? Is he? Were they going to flip the switch on us and actually make him a new hero? Jake Gyllenhaal's the perfect guy to sell that performance, because he even referred to Earth as 616. What does this man really know? Does he have knowledge beyond just the tech? It doesn't seem that way, but that's a pretty long shot answer. I know we could say the writers didn't know, or you know what? He said 616. He said it. So there's, even if it's in retrospect and you have to go back and canonize it somehow by putting a reference that he knows the multiverse. I don't know. It's very interesting. So Mysterio has Fury and Agent Maria Hill, who Agent Maria Hill passes away in the following saga in a moment in which we won't discuss. But if you know, you know. If you want to know more about that, I guess MarvelManiacPod@gmail.com we'll go through a dark re-exploration of Secret Invasion. It wasn't the worst show on the planet. I think how far I've been putting it down, it might give me a little nostalgia since I watched it like right before I moved to the place I'm at right now. Enough about me. So yeah, we get Nick Fury and Maria Hill in here, but like let's just be honest, we all know that they're Skrulls, and that's another thing that makes this rewatch weird. So many things are fake in front of Peter. The villain, the elementals, even Maria Hill and Nick Fury. Even though they're on Nick Fury's orders, so they're doing their job to be Nick Fury and Shields. What's left of Shields? Jeez. But we get the official reveal at the end, and the post-credit scene or something like that. I know the first post-credit scene was him being outed, so shoot. Like, the thing that really bothers me so much in this movie is even when I come up to like my bullet point about it, so I'm smiling and then I'm like, oh, Peter, why did you give Edith to Mysterio? Didn't you know that Tony gave you that for a reason? And Edith standing for even dead, I'm the hero. And it is the most Tony Stark thing ever. I love that. Personally, one quick note. I think we're going to see Tony Stark as Iron Man again. I just do. They're going to the multiverse. They're going to grab a variant of him who's Victor Von Doom, and they're not going to bring back original Iron Man because they have him on the cast, and we want to see him. We want to see a variant. I don't really want the Tom Cruise Iron Man variant thing. I saw a screen grab, though, like it was the title of a YouTube video. I didn't watch it, but it was kind of funny. It was Brad Pitt on Captain America's body, then Jim from The Office. I can't think of his name right now. Oh my god, I know this man. But he was Iron Man or something like that. It was funny. I'm like, are they really going to restart things like that in this big restart? I don't know. That's why I want to get through all these movies before we do apparently a giant reset after Secret Wars is the moment. We'll talk more in a maybe prediction type episode soon, maybe next week, about like what's coming and like how it's going to change the MCU forever. The illusions are some of the best sequences like you could imagine in the MCU. The big, and the thing is, these things are happening to everyone but Mysterio, and it's not like the water going everywhere and like all the destruction is real to get people to think Mysterio is a true healer. Too much Marvel Rivals hero. When Peter starts to figure it out with MJ, they find a piece of like his technology of one of the bots, and it's like putting out the projection of some of the fight, and it gives him away. So the first Mysterio fight is an illusion battle, pretty much, and Peter goes straight for him, but it's just insane. He puts Peter through a mind fuck. He's basically like in a trance. I'm very impressed with what they did with this scene. I like the whole scene where he's small and the buildings are falling, and then we see the zombie Tony Stark, which is like nightmare fuel, and honestly too soon. And Mysterio knows that. He's trying to just freak Peter out, maybe kill him and get rid of him. He has a soft spot for Peter. Before I move on, I just want to say a funny moment that I forgot to mention. The part where their teacher is trying to take a picture of himself in the montage of when they just get to Venice. He drops his camera in the water. Just the way that happens is so funny. I had to say that before I moved on. So yeah, Peter's going through this like realm of illusions for Mysterio, and he beats the crap out of Peter. And the last thing he does is get like hit by a train, thrown onto a train, and that's Peter's lowest moment for sure, and Mysterio's winning moment. And they're planning to go do something in England, and it's not a very nice thing they're doing. Sorry, London, England. Sorry, and Peter calls Happy from this like beautiful giant flower field. It's amazing, and he ends up building his own suit, which I respect. It's so similar to what Tony made, but just with the black instead of the blue. And I'll be honest, I'm like, Spider-Man's supposed to be blue and black. Why not? Why is he getting the blue? But now the blue and black look is so sick and definitive. I really like it. So I think you can sport both of them. I definitely wasn't I was enjoying sporting that suit in one of the Spider-Man games. There's 3 of them now. They brought some of the suits from the first game to the newer one, which I'm very happy about. Time for a replay of the second one. I beat it maybe 2-3 weeks ago. I'm going to do the New Game Plus gameplay on the hardest difficulty. It sounds fun. If you're not playing Spider-Man, you're missing out. These games are the best. You are a superhero. But yeah, happy being kind of like that second mentor. I was just somebody close to Tony who is relating probably at every moment on that loss. And he has to remind Peter that he's not Iron Man and he could build his own suit. And I think the web wing things where he's gliding, I think those are new. I really do. I think he added those himself because he flies into battle. We never seen that before. And he finally embraces being his own hero. So yeah, like I said a second ago, the final battle takes place in London. I want them to do something in Chicago, but I don't want the MCU Chicago to be destroyed by a supervillain or something. But I'm outside of Chicago. Where's the love? Apparently, Riri Williams' Ironheart is around Chicago. Is that true? Did I hear that? I don't know. Anyways, that's not important right now. Drones versus Spider-Man's is just different. A tech-based villain. It's different. It's different feels than fighting a supervillain with wings or a rogue gallery of all your variant selves, former villains. Spoiler alert. And Peter's tingle, they call it, instead of his spidey sense. I kind of like that too. I think that's really funny. And he uses the Speedy Tingle, Peter Tingle. I'm trying to keep this episode raw. I want real reactions. And that's just an excuse not to edit. Next level Spidey, though, when he's going through that bridge fight and he closes his eyes instead of looking at the illusions that Mysterio is putting towards him on this bridge, and that's how he kind of gets the final blow in on Mysterio. He does a great job. He even calls him out on not being on the ground. He has a handgun to the left of him. He knocks him out. Dang. Is this Mysterio death real? Did he do it? Did he fake it? What do you think? MarvelManiacPod@gmail.com. I want to know your thoughts. Will we see him again? Did he get out of this somehow? Edith did say there's no signs of life left, but wouldn't Mysterio be smarter than that? Maybe he put in some type of protocol in the Edith just to say if he dies, let it seem like he's dead, and then he'll get away and still ruin Peter's life. So predictions going forward, we got to really... we can't really make predictions based off of this, but I'd always kind of imagine that Peter would take the spell off from No Way Home and just deal with the fact that everyone knows he's Spider-Man. But I think that was kind of a bad prediction. That was definitely in my own mind. Peter getting outed as Spider-Man is the biggest, maybe mid-credits, post-credits scene there is. I love Jay Jonah. Even when he's being the bad guy, exposing Spidey. He's more of a podcaster than a news, Daily Bugle news guy this time. I think the Daily Bugle is the thing that he's doing the news on, though. But he's more of a TV show host, which is cool. Different variant. What does J. Jonah Jameson in general mean for Spidey? And Spider-Man's identity exposed. Where do you imagine that would lead? Maybe some type of... Master of the Dark Arts? No, Mystic Arts? Sorry. Dark Arts. Is there a Master of the Dark Arts? The reveal of Fury and Hill as a Skrull, clearly setting up Secret Invasion or whatever else future they wanted to make with them. We did get a Skrull name drop in the newest Daredevil Born Again episode, so there's that. They're out there still. And this sets up No Way Home in every way, where I feel like almost Mysterio should have came out and revealed that he's alive as the sixth Sinister Six. I know the Sinister Six apparently includes Venom, who never showed up. I feel like Mysterio will be there to show that he did this to Peter. Oh, one of the most wholesome moments of this movie. I had to go back and watch it just now to make sure I had it right. And yeah, I mean, the Black Dahlia necklace Peter bought for MJ at the beginning of the movie is broken. She says she likes it better broken. They have this beautiful moment and they kiss, and it's their first kiss, and it's a peck, and then it's a big kiss, and it's like superhero chills. I like their chemistry so much, and it's tragic knowing where it's going at the end of the next movie very the their relationship eventually falls back and makes this movie more iconic, legendary, fun. Because we get to see Peter with his friends, and then we're going to have to see Peter without his friends and how he copes with things like that. Which I can't imagine how alone he is. We'll talk more about that when we talk about Spider-Man No Way Home. We'll do an after show for that in the near future, very near future. So I want to know what your thoughts are, community, maniacs alike. Do you believe or think that Mysterio was ever a hero? Like when you saw him at the beginning of the movie, or, tricking Peter, were you tricked, or were you more or less, I know this is Mysterio, he's got something up his sleeve? Also, what was the most mind-blowing illusion for you? And do you think, is Mysterio alive? Because I do. Somehow he is, I think. But there's not many reasons or explanations to show, so I don't know. They could do it if they wanted. They could, right? And how does this compare to the rest of the MCU Spider-Man movies to you? In general, what of all the Spider-Man movies, where does this sit? You can also tell me, where does this trilogy sit? Do you like the Andrew or Toby or this one better? This is a hard trilogy because you do want to watch the Avengers movies in between, and you'd love to see Civil War, but I believe the through line story is in these three movies. You can watch all three without having seen those. You get recaps, and people tell you what happened at the beginning of each movie. Like we get Peter doing the Civil War battle on his hand cam and Homecoming, and in this movie we get the tribute to the Avengers who died, so we know something big happened. They even explain the blip. They show like people blipping in and out of a basketball game or something like that, which was really hilarious, but it makes you think a little bit more about the blip. How much tragedy did it cause? Like, were there airplanes up in the air? Type like would you reappear in the air, or did Tony think like did Bruce think make sure everyone's on the ground and they don't fall out of the sky, or any weird situation like that? This movie was fun, and it's a fun Spider-Man movie. If you're a fan of Spidey, there's no doubt in my mind that you will like this. It takes him out of his element. He goes into Europe, and we get to see him fight in all different types of scenery, places. It's a great movie. So final thoughts and wrap up. This is a Spider-Man movie that grows better with time. I in retrospect, like it even more, like I said, sitting between the other two movies. Same goes with a couple of movies, by the way. I'll say Thor: Dark World and Avengers: Age of Ultron. Both got some hate, but where they sit now in the middle of the timeline, where there's so much more ahead, looking back, it's not like it's better. It's better. The movie's better, but you see the movie in a different light, which is really good. I think Mysterio is definitely one of the best MCU villains. I've changed my mind, honestly. MarvelManiacPod at gmail.com. Peter, he evolved in this. He became his own Spider-Man. He kind of grew out of Tony's shadow and started doing things for himself. Not like Tony wasn't doing things for him, but like so he could do it without Tony. He had to prove that to himself in this movie. Where does this rank in this Spider-Man trilogy? Honestly, I'm gonna just like I say the last two, this one and this. I love all of them. I love Homecoming. I love this one. I love No Way Home. I'll probably go ahead and put this as a number 2, and I think I just put them out in order as not worst, but favorite to least most favorite. So Spider-Man 1's Homecoming, Far From Home, then No Way Home. That's where I rank them. What about you? I'd like to know. Remember to subscribe, rate, follow wherever you are listening from. It goes the longest way, puts us in the algorithms, and we get more fun fans, reactions, and all that. And patreon.com/MarvelManiac is where we are headed now. That's the place you can go to support the show. I just put it up. There's great perks. We're going to be doing mini-sodes, and I'm really excited for it. So patreon.com/MarvelManiac. I'll see you in there. And thank you for being here today from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for listening. And I'm so excited that we got to talk about Spidey today. Is there a part of the movie that you love that I didn't mention? MarvelManiacPod at gmail.com. Let me know. Let's talk about it. So this upcoming Wednesday, we have a new Daredevil episode, and there's going to be a doubleheader coming up. I believe it's the week after this one. So let's get excited for that. I'm so pumped. This season of Daredevil is really great. If you haven't started, watch it, then listen to our after shows, and we'll meet up again this Wednesday morning at 5 a.m. is when we are doing our releases now, and Fridays Central Time at 2, all Central Time. So I'm moving it around, trying to shake things up a little bit, hoping to reach more ears. And what do you guys, if you have any problem with that change, I'm sorry. Maybe I'll change it back if it doesn't change anything. I've had a great time here today. I won't prolong this any longer. I'm very bad at goodbyes. So until this upcoming Wednesday, Avengers, disassemble.